to get home. All right, so we're on the air. We're on the air.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to this test podcast. Welcome to the Technology Generation. My name is Eliud Romo. I'm Vice President and co-founder of the TechGen.
Hey, Paris Carter, president and co-founder of the TechGen.
Um, Kelly McWilliams was supposed to join us today. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. But
Technical difficulties.
yep. But he'll be with us maybe soon, or maybe some other day. Maybe some other day. So today we want to talk about a few things. Today we're going to talk about Blue Yeti microphone that we're about to purchase. Earlier today, and then something magical happened. We're going to talk about our experience with our custom-built PCs. Yeah, I was about to start talking about it, but never mind.
Also about the Rufus or Rufus cuff. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're gonna talk about that too.
Yep. We're also going to talk about how launch day we purchased a certain game that we were really excited about, and we vowed to play it a lot. But something happened, and we no longer play this game.
Yeah.
So we got a few things on our list. We want this podcast to last maybe about an hour. Just remember, this is just a test, so to see how this works out and see if we like it, and if we like how this.
If you guys like it.
Yeah. See, and if people like it, and if we like it, we will continue to see more of this from us. So, Paris, you want to start off with the Yeti microphone?
Oh man. Okay, so I get a message through Hangouts about the Yeti microphone for only $13. It was originally, I think, $149, but I had to research it, and when I researched it, I came back and it was $97. And it was a span of like 5 to 10 minutes. I was kind of upset about it. And
Yeah.
you showed me the Pro, and the Pro was I think 37, and the original price was 249, and now it's back up again. And now I know if you see something, you just buy it, and then if you don't like it, just return it later. Okay? Buy it. Don't matter
Yeah.
if you're not, just buy it. You can take it back later.
Yeah, we thought that price was there to stay.
Yeah.
We were really excited when I saw it. It was the Blue Yeti microphone. Its original price is like $150. It's supposed to be a really, really good microphone. I saw it when I was watching MKBHD Project Setup Tour, and I saw that a lot of people mentioned it. I saw that everybody was talking about it and everything, and I was like, well, let me do a little bit of research on that microphone, and I saw it, saw good reviews, saw that it was $13.99 plus $6.99 shipping, and send it to Paris Carter. He gets all excited about it. And he's like, oh, I'm getting it, but I have to research it first. This guy has to research everything before he buys. So he does a little bit of research. We go and we tell our friend Kelly McWilliams about it. He says that he's had it in his wish list for about 4 months, and he wants it. Then he sees the price. He's like, $14? Can somebody buy it for me, and I'll pay him back? And I pretty much said the same thing. Yeah. But
As soon as I added it to the cart, I saw the price was changed, and my hopes and dreams got smashed.
so next time for you guys, just so you know, if you see something that's supposed to be $150 for $13, just buy it. Ask questions later.
Yeah,
You know.
that's correct.
Yeah, you can ask Google anything you want later on. So yeah, if you guys did join us and you guys are on here, I see that we have one viewer. Thank you, viewer, for joining us. You know, hit us with a comment right there in the Q&A. Let us know what's your favorite mic. And
Got a message from Kelly
yeah,
McWilliams. So
Kelly McWilliams should be joining us soon now.
maybe he'll join. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Hopefully he doesn't think. Yeah, we could just ask him. There's another message.
Well,
Oh, he was watching Arrow, because Arrow is more important than the Tech
I
Gym
ain't gonna lie,
podcast.
I forgot about that Arrow was on. I'll be watching that too.
um, well, hopefully he's gonna join us now.
Now
Um,
let's just talk about the. I want to talk about the Ruthless Cup because if that's how you say it. Because I really got excited when I saw that. Let me just share real quick. Okay, let's go to boom right there. All right, so this is the Rufus Cup, or Join the Risk Revolution. When I first saw it, I saw it through Twitter, and I got super excited because I thought the time of Star Trek had come to us. I saw it on the wrist, and all I could think about was it was the wrist communicator and everything I've ever wanted. But after checking it out longer and noticing that it won't be here till September, I realized I'm not going to do it because by that time there's going to be so much new technology and they're going to change everything. It'll probably be a little bit older unless they can do some updates while they're working on it. Plus, I think KitKat is probably not going to be KitKat. It's not going to be the latest Android right now anymore. But if you look at it, it does look, to me, in my opinion, it looks better than the Gear. It looks a lot nicer. I like that you have an actual screen to mess around with. You don't have to pull your phone out too much. I have the Z Ultra, so I mean, I kind of don't need it since I have about two screens in one. But for other people, I mean, it might be good for you, but you'll get it in September if you do back it.
two screens in one, bro. You got an LED TV right there to your face.
Yeah, that's why I use the Bluetooth. But go to the models. Another thing I'm kind of iffy about backing more people is because I've backed a few projects and none of them have arrived yet on time. I actually have the Hot Watch that's supposed to be coming out. That was supposed to be to us in December. It is now April, and it might not get to me till probably next month, hopefully. And then I backed the Pressy. That's not here either. I did a wallet. That's not here either. Delayed. So
A wallet. A
yeah,
wallet.
which this is their second run too, so it should have been here by now. But coming from that, I think I'm just gonna wait from now on. I'm not really going back. I mean, backing is cool if you can wait, but I'm not really big on waiting. But I like that they actually have Dodo Case working with them for the bands. That's
Yeah,
nice.
Dodo case is really good.
I mean, I personally don't use cases too much on my phones.
But when you do,
Uh,
you use the wood grain.
yeah, I like wood and the Dodo cases look pretty nice. They do have a lot of colors to go from, and I think that's cool. So I go to the and then the video calling. I thought like if me, my friend Kelly, and Romo had them, we could feel. I mean, to me, it feels like we're in the future. You talking on this on your hand and stuff. I can't wait to see what people do with it. Um, what else? I mean, if you guys have any questions about it, you can hit us up
Yeah.
on that. But
Yeah, so
I really want to talk
join
about Titanfall.
join the wrist revolution. So yeah. So before we go into the game that Paris mentioned, um,
Titanfall.
let's let's talk about our PC experience, our brand new custom built PCs. So I got the idea, right, and I was like, hey, let's build a PC. I've always wanted to build a PC. Paris, when we went to school, that's actually what he was learning how to do, building PCs and working with PCs, all that stuff. And he had some experience with this in the past. Um, and then I thought about, you know what, I'm gonna tell my best friend Paris, let's build a PC. His first reaction was like, hell no, I'm not building no PC. I'm not building no PC.
Because I know myself, and it was really hard for me to restrain from buying the most expensive parts. That's
It
why.
was hard. It was really hard. When I saw the PC that he built, I was like, Paris didn't build this. Paris didn't build this. I'm not gonna lie, that's a beautiful case, and he got a really good processor, but there's no GPU in there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a GPU in there, but it's shared. It's not dedicated. He's got an APU processor, but so we'll go ahead and start with you, Paris, with your PC experience, and how much did it cost to build your PC, and how do you feel it's running, and yeah.
Well, first of all, the price is $600 overall. Like for everything I bought, I had an extra hard drive laying around and a few parts that I already had left. But this is my first AMD build, and I was kind of iffy about it. I've never really used them, but so far it's running really smooth. And for the price, I would have spent a lot more for Intel right now. And this dedicated, not dedicated, but the APU actually works pretty well. Like I can run Titanfall and some other games at pretty good settings. I mean, I'm not doing ultra settings or anything, but I usually play, maybe one game, if that. Mostly I play with Xbox One or PS4, so most of my time on the computer is used to edit photos or videos, and that's what it was good at. So that's what I built it for. I'm actually using a Thermaltake Snow White edition of the A31 Chaser. Nice case. It looks really nice. I mean, I'm not really big on blue, but it actually works for me. Um, I'm thinking about getting a dedicated GPU. I don't know yet. I'm kind of up in the air.
Who are you thinking about going with?
I was thinking about getting a NVIDIA GeForce 770, but I'm also looking like I might want to try to stick towards things that are AMD. So I might, and that is somebody calling me. Let me just. All right. Um, I'm also thinking about getting maybe the 280X or the 290. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to think about it if I'm going to cross it in the future or not. Then if I am, I might stick with a 280 or something or 270 and just get a second one later. But I'm just gonna wait, see when the price gets good.
So, what's your overall experience on a computer? Are you happy? Would you say I would never build a computer again, or?
I'm actually really happy about it, but I might build a whole nother PC. I mean, this one's cool, but I might take the time to actually build a higher performance computer, the one that can play anything and do anything.
Not me. I'm keeping this baby.
Okay, so it won't be for a while.
Yeah. Well, my experience with my PC, man. So before this, I had a pre-built HP computer. It had 6 gigs of RAM, had a terabyte, had an i3 processor, Intel processor. I had a shared graphics card. It was, I think, Intel HD 2000 or something like that. It could run Counter-Strike really good, but but it pretty much crashed every time I tried to run any other game. But yeah, it's sitting right there like if it was a piece of trash, like Paris said earlier. It's just sitting there. Now I have this beautiful beast. I'm not a big fan of blue either. My favorite color is green, and I was really hoping to build a green LED lit computer, but I didn't. So I ended up going with the blue, and it has only one LED in there.
Fan, right?
Yeah, it's the fan. It's a LED lit fan. I'm running the Thermaltake Chaser 831. It's a mid-tower computer. Same one as Paris, but black, not white. Paris is a little racist against black people. And, but yeah, no, but I got the black one. It's a beautiful case. I have a ASRock. I've never really used ASRock before.
Oh yeah, ASRock too. Never used them.
But I heard really good things about ASRock. So I thought I'd give it a try. And to be honest with you, it's a beautiful motherboard. Kelly is asking us if you can join, and of course you can join, Kelly. You can join whenever you want. You don't have to talk really loud, bro. Just whisper. But I have an ASRock 990 FX Extreme 3. It's a beautiful motherboard. I have a GTX 760 Asus OC Edition 2 gigabyte GPU, 8320 FX processor by AMD, and yeah, I have a 600 watt PSU. I was gonna get a bigger PSU because I wanna do SLI later on in the future, but I'm thinking about maybe
Hey,
What's up, Kelly?
What's up?
Hey,
How you
how
doing?
you doing? How you doing? Whoa, Kelly's volume, like his voice is like oh pro, like he has a pro
Is it
mic.
really loud?
No, it sounds really good. It
Oh,
sounds
oh, well, all right.
yeah. It sounds like you're using a really good mic.
Uh, gift. It's pretty good actually.
So yeah. Uh, so I'm thinking about maybe later on in the future, maybe like next year when my taxes come in, um, getting rid of my GTX 760 and maybe getting a 290X or a 280X. Maybe do Crossfire and then
Yeah,
moving
it'll
up
be in
to
the
a
thousands or something, but
yeah, and then maybe move up from a 8320 to an 8370 AMD processor. Um, I have 2 terabytes, a 120 SSD, no optical drive because
who uses that anymore?
I've never used it. How about you, Kelly? Do you use optical drives on your computer?
Keller still uses it.
Kelly still uses
Kelly still
optical
uses it.
drives. Yeah, we don't. Well, I mean, me and Paris don't. I haven't used an optical drive since I think since they came out.
Well, see, the reason why I use it is because I have a lot of DVDs. I mean, unless there's some sort of service that can transition all those ones that physical to a digital copy, then I'll do that. But as of right now, what if I want to watch something on my PC? Can't do it, right? If I didn't have that drive. So,
Yeah,
and to me, it's only $20. It's not a bank breaker. You know what I mean?
yeah,
True,
It's
true.
convenience.
That's true.
yeah. But if I
Um,
watch movies, I usually, Xbox Live or
yeah,
That's true.
same here.
That's true.
Same here.
I was gonna say PlayStation, but I'll never.
Like, for example, I bought every season of The Big Bang Theory
I don't
on
know why I did that.
Google Play
I don't know why I did
because
that.
I love that show. They just signed up for 3 more seasons,
Damn,
and I'm gonna watch the shit out of them.
good enough.
Um,
With that. 3 of them.
So
uh,
what was that first question you guys asked? Was it
so the first question was, well, we started off with talking about the Yeti and how disappointed we were when we weren't able to purchase it because the price went up to $95.
that says something about our economy that we can't spend $15 on a mic.
But it changed so fast. I put it in my cart and it was $97 out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was really quick.
Oh,
And then, oh yeah, how did you feel about Titanfall? How we all purchased Titanfall and then we just don't play anymore.
Personally, I knew that was going to happen. Truthfully, it was just one of those things.
And he's the one that told us to buy
yeah,
it.
you're right.
I did.
You didn't want to play it.
That's true. I did kind of pressure you guys to get that.
And then he told us to get Dead Island, which we don't play either.
No, I didn't do that. That was Paris. That was 100% Paris.
I actually liked it. I just haven't played it yet, but I really want
It
to.
doesn't run very well on my computer for some reason.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm like overqualified for this thing, but for some reason it's glitchy. Maybe it's not on the right settings or something, but it's glitchy.
Yeah, you gotta change settings.
Maybe your
Probably.
computer is too beast that the game is scared.
That could be it. That could be it.
I mean, that 770 can freak some people out.
So you guys went over your guys' tech for your computers, right?
Yeah. So what's your PC setup like, and what is your experience? I know you have your computer for a while already.
I have, yeah. Of the three of us here, I built mine. I'm assuming first. I could be wrong, but I built mine 2 years ago, I think. And right now I have the Cooler Master Half X as my case, which is just a ridiculously large case.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I sent you pictures of that, Paris. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
It's like a coffee stand, man. It's ridiculous.
You could put a microwave in there.
You probably could. You know what? I have enough bays that I've actually seen people put toasters. I'm not sure why anyone would do that, but yeah, I've seen it. But no, I'm running what is it? NVIDIA EVGA NVIDIA GTX 770 4 GB edition, which that's the one I wanted because it seems like a lot of the newer games require 2 or 3 GB, and I was running a 560 Ti before that, so I definitely needed more power. Um, I still have my optical drive, my faithful optical drive. 8 gigs of RAM. ASRock, I know you guys mentioned ASRock earlier today, saying how
Yeah.
it's good. I liked it because of the price. Preferably, I want it. Preferably, I want an Asus. Truthfully,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
that's
more
what I
of a
want.
Gigabyte. I've used Gigabyte.
A Seuss hardcore fan right here.
Yeah, I am too. My monitors, Asus. I like them a lot, actually.
Oh, I love my monitor. I forgot to tell you guys about it. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I still have my crappy HP monitor. Hey, it does the job.
If it works, it works.
What about your processor?
Running an older one. I think it's the second generation. What is that? The i7 26 2600K, I think. 2600K.
Still a
Yeah,
good processor.
it is good. It is good. Don't
Yeah.
haven't overclocked it or anything yet. I plan on doing that eventually, one day. Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Probably one day, probably not though.
So yeah, so those are our setups. It looks like we have a viewer, guys. Say hello to the viewer.
Hello, viewer.
Hey,
Hello,
viewer.
viewer.
Welcome.
Yay.
If you have any questions, just feel free to ask questions. We have a Q&A opened up right here, so we will see your questions. Um, so, oh, by the way, Kelly is also another of the co-founders for the TechGen, Kelly McWilliams.
Hello.
So, yeah, we didn't really get to introduce him earlier. So, yeah.
How are you guys? Pretty good.
Once again, you know. Oh,
We're good.
what's up, Jeff Jordan?
Talk about?
Yeah. Any I know you probably missed
Before we
what
start
we
talking
talked about earlier, Jeff. We were talking about the Rufus cuff. I don't know if you've heard about it. Paris, you want to show us what it is again?
yeah,
The Rufus cuff.
show that. There we go.
Thank you for joining us,
Showing?
Jeff
There we
Jordan.
go.
If you have any friends that like technology or anything like that, make sure you let them know about this tech podcast in our upcoming YouTube channel for the TechGen.
So this is the Rufus stuff. This is the website they have. If you want to check it out, go look at it. Right now it's only $239 if you want to get the early bird. And you won't get it till September, which probably means October, November. But you know, I'm just saying from my previous experience with back-end devices, I have not received anything in time. So there's always some unforeseeable problem that comes up. But as you can see, there's a lot of features on here that I think are pretty nice. The only thing they're missing is SIM card. You know,
I know, right?
voice, video, web, fitness, messaging, alerts, the apps, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, even water resistant. And you also look like you are from Star Trek with those.
I would say it's more of a like a Star Wars. I don't know about Star Trek. No, not Star Wars. Star Wars is more like an old school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Star Trek
yeah,
is
it's
all
more old school.
the
Star Trek is the more high
technology.
tech.
Plus, well, the one thing I like the most is that you can. There's different color bands. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So the Rufus cuff is pretty much like the smart watch of the smart watches, like the super smart watch. You pretty much do anything you want on there, including video chat. So yeah, you guys should probably check that out. Pre-order, support it, contribute. Um, is this device supposed to push information from your mobile device to your wrist? Yes and no. I would say yes and no. This device is pretty much like its own standalone device, so it'll have its own information. It'll run its own apps and everything. But you do need to have can't even think how I want to say this. You do have to pair it with your mobile device in order for you to make voice calls and video calls, and text message and all that stuff.
But what I've got from the video and the comments and stuff, it does the information that you get on your phone gets pushed there, like the Galaxy Gear or the Pebble does, but it's more in depth because the screen's bigger. You can control your music on the go, and You receive messages. You can do your web browsing on there. I don't know if it's
Yep.
going to be like where you can push it to your phone when you're using it, like start a message on your phone or something like that, and go to there. It is touchscreen.
Now,
Yes.
is this compatible with all Android phones and iOS devices, or is it certain, you know, certain phones?
I didn't see where they put anything about compatibility on it. Let me check real quick.
I would probably guess it's
I'd
probably
probably
compatible
say
with Android.
Well, I mean, it,
Um,
it does say
it's
Android and
iPhone
iOS
compatible,
on it,
but I don't.
yeah, there you go. So Android and iOS.
but I'm trying to figure out like if is it like only ice cream sandwich and above, or
Most likely,
like what are the minimum qualifications?
I would
most
probably
likely.
guess Kit Kat. They'll probably start off with Kit Kat since everything's supposed to be updated to Kit Kat already.
Yeah, but KitKat only takes, I think, 5% of Android space right now,
Yeah.
so that wouldn't be smart for them to do that. I think most likely it is going to run. I want to say 2.3 and above.
He asks
That's
if it's
usually what you would
touchscreen.
do. Um,
So
yeah, it
so
doesn't say.
yeah,
Like, they'll probably say
it's
what.
probably gonna be 2.3 and above, or maybe 3.0 and above. Honeycomb, man, I love
Oh, I remember Honeycomb.
how Android just. I remember you hated Honeycomb because of all the blue,
Oh yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
and now that Kit Kat's out and there's hardly any blue on there.
I love that everything's it's gray. Nice.
But yeah,
My time
so
was here.
let's talk Titanfall. What are your guys' opinions on Titanfall? What do you guys
Oh my
think?
goodness.
Everybody thought it was gonna revolutionize FPS. They
I
thought it
love
was gonna
that
be
game.
the best FPS. They thought it was gonna beat Call of Duty. I have heard from a lot of people that went from playing Titanfall and went straight back to Call of Duty. I personally myself am kind of getting over first-person shooters. I've been stuck playing Rust, League of Legends, and other games like that. Uh, so I don't know, Kelly. What are your thoughts on
Well,
Titanfall?
Titanfall is a solid game. All right, the people at Respawn, they know what they're doing. This isn't something new for them. This isn't their first game. It's their first game as a company, yes, but they've had a long history with the Call of Duty franchise, obviously, and you can see that in this. And it's not just another Call of Duty rehash. It's not. It's kind of like that, of course, but it's faster paced, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's more vertical elements. It's not just all flat grounds. And I think the Titans are actually pretty nice. I really like. I wish there was a little bit more options, I would say.
I'm pretty sure there will be some in the DLCs.
Yeah, I'm sure. But as of right now, I mean, it's a solid game. It doesn't keep my attention for too long, though.
So Jeff Jordan just said it seems like a good idea. I'm thinking about using this in New York City. Not sure if I'd like to have a large, expensive-looking object on my wrist. Yeah, especially in New York, right?
This is anywhere, really.
Yeah, especially.
You'll be okay though because iPhones are the things that are getting stolen. And
Yeah, that's true.
Jeff, this is what you do. You just get a really long jacket. Just break it and cover it up.
Or you can cover it up
Golden.
with one of those sweatbands that they use
There
for
you go.
working out.
There you go. You get a sweatband. You get a Nike sweatband, and you just cover it up.
But I guess that's how people might have felt years ago with the emergence of smartphones. Very true. Smartphones obviously started off as huge brick phones. Over the years, they started to get really small to the point where we had super tiny
The
flip phones.
juke. Remember the juke?
Yes, I remember the juke. People thought it was cool to have little tiny things right next to your ear, and now we're going back to
Now we got
having
this.
super large.
Now we got this.
phones. Yep.
And we got
Yep.
this.
Well, my phone's not that big. I got the
It's still just as large.
Nexus,
Yes,
but it's a much more beautiful phone.
the Ultra.
Just throwing that out there.
Now,
But,
Jeff,
Let me do the
Jeff,
iPhone
if you don't mind me asking, what kind of phone do you use?
iPhone 4.
I don't think he doesn't seem like an iOS guy. He's probably using an Android.
He's here. He's on Google Plus, man.
Yeah,
he's
he's on
rocking an Android.
Most definitely rocking an Android. But I get where he's coming from. I probably wouldn't be very comfortable having a huge device on my wrist either. Uh,
I get
and
it.
and like Paris said before, when I look at a smartwatch, I'm looking for the exact same thing as Paris is. I'm not looking for something to replace my phone. That seems what Rufus Cuff is going to do. It's going to replace your phone. I'm looking for something that adds more features to my phone. That
More like a companion.
exactly something that it's like Paris said before. I'm pretty much quoting Paris. Something that's gonna allow me to not pull out my phone from my pocket every time I get a notification or something like that. Something where I can just
Oh, the
quickly
DNA.
respond,
I like that
and
one. I
that's
like
it.
that phone.
The Droid DNA still, in my opinion, has the best screen
Oh man.
in any phone.
Okay, I can give you that. It's not a bad screen.
It is a beautiful
But
screen.
have you seen this screen in person?
I have not, no, and I've heard nothing but good things about
This
that
screen
Yep,
screen.
is
Droid in the house.
And you can use it as shade. Seriously.
yes. Let me just see. Do you see
So,
the shadow
but
on the
like I
bottom?
said, I get where he's coming from. So I wouldn't want something that big on my wrist. I really like. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but when they first announced Android Wear, that very circular Android watch that had
Mhm.
nothing on it, but the time
Looks like a
it looked like Google Now. That was very beautiful, and I hope they come up with something like that. That
You know,
looked very beautiful.
I saw the pictures of that. Have you ever actually seen it in a different angle?
I have not.
It looks on the side. It looks a little bit larger than it's actually portraying it to be.
Really?
Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit larger. I mean, I still think it's gonna be a solid device.
Yeah.
But that initial
I
picture
will
that we
buy
got.
one.
Here, let me see if I can find that.
I'm trying to plus
What I think is
one
really good right now
uh, this, but it's not letting me. So
for companion. This is the Sony Bluetooth headset. It's the SBH52. This does exactly what I want it to do. It shows
yeah.
me all my messages. And so I can just check and be like, okay, I'm going to not pay attention to that message right now. Or
okay.
you can, check your call history. When I'm out jogging or something like that, I can use the FM radio if I don't want the phone. Um, it has built-in speaker phone in here, so I just talk right on here. Just put it on speaker and talk. It also has the speaker actually on here is louder than all my phones, and it's really clear. So that's another thing I like. I mean, I don't have any camera on here or anything like that that I wouldn't use. I think this is where they need to go with the watch. Just have
Some people are gonna laugh at my drink right now, but it's okay.
I think that's really nice. Plus, for 88 bucks, I mean, you can't beat the price for what it is. The battery lasts a pretty good time too. I think it lasts
Well, what was that called again?
It's the SBH52 wireless Bluetooth headset
There you go.
from Sony.
So Jeff Jordan, our main guy, the one that seems to the only one to seem to have questions. We have
True.
3 viewers, by the way.
Like
We have 3 viewers.
Oh, welcome to the other two viewers.
Samsung
Yep.
HTC, they do put a lot of their sort of design improvements on their phones, the UI, and I do not like that. That's why I like Sony. Their UI is really nice. They don't put too many bloatware, don't put much bloatware on here. The icons they change them. That's about it. Other than that, it's a pretty stock look on there.
I'm with Jeff. I've been a fan of HTC since I first heard of them. Paris introduced me to HTC. My first phone from HTC was AT&T Tilt using Windows 6.5, I believe.
Oh, 6.5.
And man, it was such a
Yeah,
beautiful phone.
6.5.
But I really love HTC Sense 6 and HTC Sense 5. I haven't used HTC Sense 6. I've used 5. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think they really did an amazing job with it. I don't like how you cannot remove blink feed. That's the only thing I don't like.
I think on 6 you can. Could be
Oh,
wrong, but I think on 6 you can not use it if you want.
okay.
And the next question he has is when any games coming out to challenge the major players in the market, Titanfall stands alone on its own, not as a Call of Duty competitor.
I agree.
This
I
is
think
absolutely
the same
true.
thing.
Yes.
Absolutely true.
Real quick on that, Titanfall, yeah, I like Kelly said, it is really solid. I like it a lot, but it did force me to go back to Call of Duty for a little bit. I'm just saying because there was no story. I just
That
played
was
Call,
my
the
big
story
deal.
was
That
not
was my big deal too.
very very upset what they did. They could have just not had a story out of it. But
Yeah.
I think the division is gonna.
Ooh, the division.
I
Don't get
think
me
that game
started.
is gonna.
Don't get me started.
It will.
If you guys have not heard, if you guys have not seen, you guys should research. You guys should really research Tom Clancy's The Division. I think it's gonna be an amazing game. Um, hopefully, from what the rumors that I've seen, it's gonna be a cross-platform multiplayer game.
This is true.
These are just rumors, though. But I think that would be really good. Now, in my opinion, this is gonna be a very demanding game.
Oh,
From what I've
absolutely.
seen.
That's
Oh yeah, I don't see how it's not going to be. And remember, it's not just going to be for next gen. Also, obviously, it's going to be for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and tablets. So you got to remember that too. So it's going to be coming out for mobile devices as well. Obviously, not in the same capacity, but I believe there was an E3 demo or something like that where they kind of just jumped into the game and they were like a drone, I believe, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
That's paired with well, look, I don't know if is it a standalone app or is that paired with?
Yeah, I don't know.
Smart glass?
I think it's a smart glass. I think it's smart glass.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be smart glass. I don't. See, a part of me doesn't. I don't think it's going to be smart glass, and the reason behind that is because it would put a really massive disadvantage for PC users and PS4 users. So I think they're just going to make their own app, truthfully.
Not for PS4 though, because PS4 has their own.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Option.
Yeah, but I think that's true. But have you seen that? It does not run. It is not nearly as good as smart glass.
Yeah, I think yes, correct. I think it is arcade style tactical shooter MMO. It's definitely going to be massive multiplayer online. I like how they have multiple areas. It pretty much looks like New York, right? Where they're at in the demo.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
But I just love how everybody's trying to shoot for the same thing and everybody's fighting for it, and how you can join your team players from anywhere. Like you could just meet at a cross points, in the street or whatever. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really, really good. Another game that I showed to Paris the other day. I don't know if you've heard of it, Kelly. You probably have though. It's a next-gen shooter. It's a first-person shooter called Get Even.
No, I have not heard that.
Man, have you seen the graphics for that game?
I have not. No. I mean, based off of what you're telling me now, I'm gonna have to do some research on it.
Look, I'm telling you right now. I watched it and I thought it was a video at first. But they were saying that's in game. I thought it was just a video showing what the game's gonna be about. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, that's a lie. I'm sorry. I did see this.
Also, what I found out was Deep Down's gonna be free to play.
Wait, what?
I just watched that yesterday. It said Deep Down is made by Capcom. It's gonna be free to play.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Capcom has some ground to cover. They have lost my faith over the years. I'm not gonna lie. But this game, it looks like they might put them back on the right path. But
what I'm getting from it is, I think, even though it's in the future, I think it's something to do with reality or something like that, like Assassin's Creed or something.
That should be interesting.
Parts of it when they were playing, it would like fade away in like little blocks. It looked like something you'd see if you were like, editing video or something. It looked like something that would be inside.
All right, so I think it's time we gear away from video games, and maybe we got really into it. The big question, the question that people always ask, the thing that people always battle about, and it's going to be about 4 different products. The first 2, it's going to be, well, I should say software, not products. The first 2 are going to be Android versus iOS. Which one and why? Paris?
Oh, man, this is hard because I have both. A lot, but because the screen size, right now. If Apple can bring out a bigger screen, then I'll probably like I'll go with them more. It's just I really like the way iOS works. It never stutters on me, it never has problems. The app support is awesome. It's just I'm so used to phones like the Note 3 and Z Ultra that when I go back to my iPhone to try to do something, my eyes start to hurt. Okay, that little keyboard, I just can't get over it. It's so small. But I mean, Android's coming up. They're coming up real quick. Like 4.4 is a really nice improvement over the past models I've used. Um, and I think with the way they're doing with with Android Wear, Android's going in the right direction. I don't know what iOS is going to do with their smartwatch if they ever do bring it out, but for right now, I'm going to stick with Android as my main daily driver.
Android. Okay. Before I go move on over to you, Kelly, I don't want to ignore Jeff Jordan. So Jeff Jordan has a question for you, Kelly. He says Capcom has lost faith. Well, you have lost faith in Capcom. He says they have been on a roll. What do you think about that?
A roll would indicate that they have produced quality games, and I'm not saying that they haven't. It's just that when you compare their games to, say, Resident Evil 4, which was just easily one of the best games, period, of that generation.
Yes.
It's hard to say that they're getting better. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like they're just kind of stagnant. I think they're uninspired. And granted, I haven't played a lot of Capcom games, truth be told, but I just know I'm a big fan of Resident Evil, and they destroyed it with 6. It was awful. 6 was terrible.
Play it. That was loud.
That was loud. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, next question. So, what's your take on the release on the next-gen consoles? Now, for me, I'll go over to you, Paris, for now. I'll go over to you. For me, I was really excited about the Xbox One. I was really excited about their rules that they had in the beginning, the whole DRM and sharing with friends and all that. I thought it was going to be something really good. It was really going to introduce something new into next gen. I love the fact that I really didn't care about the internet always on, because my internet is always on. I never turn it off. So I really didn't care about that, and I thought it was a good idea, because by the internet always being connected, they could easily push updates. They can easily push a lot of things to your console.
Interact with it.
Exactly. I think it would have made it a lot easier for cloud gaming too, if the internet was always on and all that stuff. And by them doing a 360 or 180, on those policies, it took away a lot of that excitement for me. PS4, I had a PS3. I'm not biased when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation. I had a PS3, bought an Xbox, sold my PS3. Then I started playing on Xbox, and I just stayed on Xbox just because everybody that I knew was on Xbox, or else I would have kept the PS3. To me, it's all about who you know and on what console they're on. I think they're both great consoles. I like the fact that multiplayer online on PlayStation was free. But at the same time I didn't like it because they didn't have all those securities that Microsoft did. And the reason why all those securities were there was because you were paying for a service, and they made sure that you were getting what you were paying for. So when they mentioned on the PS4 that you were going to start paying for it, I was like, okay, so new things are going to start coming to PlayStation. There's going to be, probably the online is going to be a lot better. And next thing you know, they mentioned that you're going to get free games every month. So
that's to me where they differ, because with the Xbox, I mean, granted, yeah, they have a solid foundation as multiplayer. They've known. I mean, they dominate the console multiplayer scene. You know, the PlayStation, they had a rough start with the PlayStation 3. I would say there's a lot of stuff you couldn't do on that one versus on Xbox Live. On the PlayStation 4, they've done a lot better, and it's games. I realize though that I don't like Xbox Live policy. I realized they don't have the freedom, I guess is what the word is I'm trying to find. For instance, for games like Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn, which I'm a huge fan of, I play that religiously. It was supposed to come out on Xbox One. The problem is that they didn't allow it because they would have to make their own server, so they would not be able to play with the same people, the PC people and the PlayStation, or yeah, the PlayStation 4 people. So they would have to be on their own server, and Square Enix didn't want that. And that's what I'm seeing with Elder Scrolls Online, and that's why I don't think that game is going to be that good. I really don't, because even though it looks solid, but what's the point of creating these factions and these friends when you can't jump to another platform and play with the same people?
Yeah.
You're playing with that. To me, that is stupid. Why put it on multiple platforms then?
Yeah. What about you, Paris?
I have both systems too, but the PS4, I think the most fun I've had playing that system is with Second Son.
That's a lie. No, you enjoyed Tomb Raider. I saw it all over your face. You enjoyed.
And wait,
Was nice.
you also enjoyed Outlast. The only thing is you haven't been able to finish it.
Yeah, because it kind of fell off. Like, it was cool at the time, but as soon as Tomb Raider came out, that crushed my love for Outlast. Like, I forgot about it. And Tomb Raider is really nice, but you just have more fun in Second Son. You just do whatever you want. You know?
This is probably true. Yeah, I mean, but it's a different style of gameplay too.
Different style, but like best Tomb Raider I've ever played in my life, though.
Oh, easily. Bless you.
Thank you. The other thing with the free games for PlayStation, that's free games if you keep your Plus. Okay, it's not.
This is true.
Xbox
This is true.
One,
You
Xbox
can't.
Live, it's free game for life. As soon
Yeah,
as
this is
you
true.
You say I want to purchase it, it's yours.
Yes.
You'll get it.
With PlayStation, you buy it, and they are not even really buy it. It gets on your thing, but if you lose that PlayStation Plus, you can't play it. You're screwed.
Yeah, it's basically a rental. They're letting you rent it.
Pretty much. Yeah, but I think it's a great deal, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still pretty good because regardless, once somebody has PlayStation Plus, I mean, they're gonna keep it because they're gonna want to play multiplayer, and you have to have PlayStation Plus to play multiplayer. 1, 2. It goes for the same for people on Xbox. Usually, people who have Xbox Live, there's never a time where they don't have it. They usually purchase the whole year. Yeah, so I don't think that's a big deal breaker. I think it sucks for the people who thought, oh, I'm gonna get it for 1 month, get this free game, and then cancel it. Yeah, I think it would suck for them, but
yeah, PS3,
for somebody,
Xbox 360, you're gonna have support for a while. Like their support for them isn't going nowhere.
you know what? And that's one thing that I don't like. Reason why is because I wish once they come out with a new system, I wish they would discontinue support for the other system. You know, just allow them to play the games that they already have and don't come out with any new games. And then on the new systems, take everything because it would allow them to focus on next gen only.
True, but people can't pay the $500, $600. It depends. You know, in other countries, it's like $600, $700 for them to buy one of these new systems. People don't have that to do that, or don't feel like they should. I mean, you have a 360 and it works, or you have a PS3 and it works. Why? You know what I'm saying? Go to a new system.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but man, I don't know. To me, when the Xbox 360 came out, there was good games. You know, Halo being one of them. You know, they had a lot of good games come out for the Xbox 360. The best games were, I mean, the best Halo in my opinion was the first one. That was the best Halo.
In my opinion, I don't like
Halo 3. Halo 3 was really good too, but yeah. But I don't know. I think when they continue to do support for last gen, it doesn't allow them to focus on next gen, and it doesn't allow them to give us those games that we're all waiting for, like
seems
like Tom Clancy, for example. You know, the Division. That's not gonna come out for the Xbox 360. It's gonna be Xbox One, PS4, and PC only. You know, and the reason why that's the reason why I think that game is gonna be really good.
Because they can focus on next gen.
Exactly. What's another one? The Crew. That's another game that I think it's gonna be amazing. So, let's see. I'm trying to read this question that Jeff sent us, but it looks like it was too long and cut off.
But you still have releases coming out for PS3. That one?
Oh, okay. You can see the whole thing. I can't. So I agree with him. And then it does look like they took a backseat as soon as it was released. To me, it seemed rushed. It seemed like a very, very rushed release of both systems. They were incomplete. You needed updates to do certain things. Yeah, it seemed very rushed. Go for it.
Yeah,
I saw you.
I can understand how you say the Xbox One was rushed, but I can't say the same for the PlayStation 4. I feel like they were obviously. I think they were more prepared, in my opinion, than the Xbox One.
Features on the PS4.
I'm sorry?
I said I also think it's because there's less features on the PS4. It's easier for them to make it complete.
This is true. But they had a focus, and they gathered that focus. You know, they focused on that focus. So, and you know, there was, you know, and I like their jabs at Microsoft. This is how you share a game.
Yeah,
that was great. That was great.
Yeah, I think they were more prepared, but I don't think they were completely prepared.
No, and I don't think anyone is. No company is going to bring out with something and be 100% prepared. You know, there's always going to be issues and stuff like that. But you know, I think the PlayStation 4 is a little bit more solid in my opinion right now. But that does not mean just because they're selling more right now. Right. Just because they're selling more than the Xbox One does not mean the next gen war is over. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The sales are actually getting close to.
They are getting closer.
Yes, they are. And you know what? I think the main thing that made Sony very popular in the beginning of this next gen marathon was the bashing that they were doing on Xbox. I think that's the reason why.
People love that.
Yeah, they did, and they saw how bad they were. Pretty much, they were beating the shit out of Xbox with these comments. People saw it. They went ahead and they researched it. They started saying that PlayStation was focused on gamers only. But then again, they still add other features like TV and stuff like that. When you say their focus is gamers only, they still add entertainment and all that kind of stuff. But you know, people bought it. They bought it and they went for a PlayStation. And another thing that was really grinding my gears, how people were saying, "Oh, look at the PS4. It's sold out in every store, and the Xbox isn't sold out." The reason why the PlayStation 4 was sold out was because they were sending smaller quantities than Microsoft was. Microsoft was sending larger quantities. Exactly. Microsoft was selling larger quantities so they wouldn't run out. PlayStation sent smaller quantities so they would run out, so it would seem like they were selling out.
Also, they weren't sure of themselves because even with the PlayStation, the new camera, they didn't make that many because they didn't know if that many people would get it.
Yeah.
I was reading the other day one of the ones that work on Sony, and he was saying how he was surprised at how well it was selling. And that's why it was selling so quick because they didn't have enough stock for it. So I think that's another thing. I think people focus too much on the numbers. Not enough on like what actually is on their systems. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So back to our Android and iOS. So Paris, you said what you had to say. Kelly, what about you? Android or iOS, and why? Why one and why not the other? I already know what he's gonna say, but the other people don't.
I mean, I'm just a big fan of what Google's doing. It's not, it's less to do with Android and more to do with Google. I just like their direction, their focus, their overall disposition of what they want to, achieve. Um, I just like, Jeff Jordan says, he switched back to the Android for the customization. I like that. All those kind of things I really, really enjoy. If I feel like switching the keyboard, man, I got like 6,000 apps that I can try out in my app store. So, they're both exceptional companies, obviously, Google and Apple, but I don't know. I just like the Android products more.
Yeah, the customization. I like the customization, but I don't customize my phone. Just, like I have the iPhone and I can't customize, and I get mad that I can't. But then I have this Z, and I don't customize it. I just use what I want to throw it and call it. I just like the fact that you can do it if you wanted to.
Hmm.
That's what I like about it. But the camera on the iPhone 5S, I like it a lot.
Uh-huh.
Like when I'm out and about, even when I have my Note 3, I'd always pull my iPhone out and I'd take a picture. I've never pulled out my other phone. I've never had a problem with that camera. Never.
You know,
Samsung,
for me, I would, man. You know what? You know what I would say if they had more apps, but because they don't have that many apps,
yeah.
this is the reason why I'm still using Android.
Mhm.
I love Android because of all the apps, customization. I can do whatever, even though I can do whatever the hell I want to do to my Android. I still choose stock. I think stock is the best
I
for
agree.
vanilla Android.
I
Uh,
absolutely agree.
it looks clean. It works fastest.
Mhm.
Um, I just love it, and I can pretty much do whatever the hell I want on my phone. I can fucking play Pokemon if I want to on my phone. Um,
There's a
so
lot more freedom with Android.
it
Yeah.
is, it is,
That's what I like. I
it's
don't want to be tethered to someone else's, stuff, like with iTunes and stuff. I hate iTunes, first of all. So the less I have to go through that, the better.
I used to hate iTunes.
I absolutely despise
I,
that
I
service.
I never cared for it. I don't hate it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it.
I
Um,
like how easy it is to, find all the information for each song. Like, it puts it in order, like, real easy. I mean, I'm using Windows now.
it is clean.
Windows
iTunes is
5.
clean. iTunes is a very very clean, and very very
Yeah, it's simple.
it's good at what it's supposed to do. But like Kelly said, I don't like to be tied down. It's just I can't.
Well, you don't have
Um,
to use their music or their movies. You can use
true.
your own. I just
Which
think
I
it's
wouldn't anyways. I mean, if I bought an iPhone, I would
dedicated
jailbreak the shit out
application.
of
Yeah.
it.
For Android, I think they should come out with their own dedicated application. I know it's because they let you do whatever you want, but with iOS, plug it into iTunes, access everything I want on my iPhone. I think that's
it's
nice.
it's good that you're talking about Android applications. The only thing that I don't like about Android is how they have 5 different apps that do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So, so they have a gallery. They have
Photos.
This is
Kelly's
true. This is true. They have gallery. They have the Google Plus photos. They have, then they have
Messages.
contacts, and then they
yeah.
have the same contact list in the phone log.
Yes.
So they definitely need to. I mean, they have some improvement, but man,
And there's other applications that they own that are better than the ones that they have. So, for example, I think Snapseed, it's a really, really good application. And when
it
they
is.
applied it,
It
I,
is.
I, I was hoping they would actually, change, just change the name and everything, and just make it their own application, and use it as their main application and combine everything.
They just
But
have money and they need to spend it.
they don't.
What it is. I think
That's
my
that's
system today.
that's the only thing that I don't like about Android. They don't know how to use what they have. They have really good things, but they don't know how to use it. Um,
It's because they keep thinking about the future. They
yeah,
make something and they
they
think
just
about
keep acquiring things.
it.
Just like, oh, that seems to be getting a lot of attention. Let's buy
Yeah.
that.
I think the Google Play Store is getting closer to um, replicating the environment of iTunes, or at least on the phones. Like, if you go back from what the market used to look like to
It was
now,
ugly as crap.
oh my goodness.
It was terrible.
So,
Terrible.
I mean, even with, they just added that feature where you can see what other people are using, what apps they're downloading.
I thought that was really cool.
I mean,
I,
they're
I,
getting closer to
I know what I now know what movies Kelly likes to watch.
No, you shouldn't, because I actually turned that off. You shouldn't.
Why not share it with
I do. I saw that you like Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, I love that, by the way.
I love Lord of the Rings.
Dude, what? I didn't know that, man. We're gonna have to
What?
talk, man.
Oh man, you
Dude.
just don't know.
Dude,
You just don't
dude,
know.
I put it like this. I bought Lord of the Rings 4 times.
Dude, I love Lord of the Rings.
Why did I buy it 4 times?
What do you mean why?
No, okay, so check this out. So I bought it when I was in Sacramento, okay, when they first came out. Then they released an extended edition, and I left my copy at home, so I bought it when I was down in San Diego. Bought them all again, standard though, and then I was like, oh, hey, they have an extended edition. Bought the extended edition. Then they made an extended of the extended edition on Blu-ray. And I bought that again, and now I'm looking, and I literally have all of them, the extended editions, in my Google Play wish list, and I'm contemplating getting that too. That's easily my favorite franchise of all time.
Hey, Hangouts 5.
Yeah, seriously, that's pretty fantastic. That was dorky, by the way, but it worked. It worked.
It worked. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, easily one of my favorite movies.
It's the greatest story.
Yes, it is. It is. And you know what? I made my wife
look at Paris. He's like, I'm done. I'm hanging out.
I made my wife watch The Fellowship of the Ring, and she loved it. And then by the way, we're watching the extended editions. I don't care. I could sit through the 4 hours.
Yeah, it's like 12 hours I need to be watching there.
Yes, I saw, and then we started watching The Two Towers, and she fell asleep like halfway through the movie, and I was like, I woke her up, and I woke her up, and I was like, baby, you're falling asleep. She was like, oh, I thought the movie was over. I was like, are you serious? It's just getting started.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fell asleep when it's just getting started. So yeah, and then it is. So she saw all 3 of them, and she loves it.
Wait, say that again, Paris?
You bought Fast and Furious 6?
No, I have not. I'm not that big of a Fast and Furious fan. It's a good franchise.
Yeah. I think he rated it, or he +1'd it.
Oh, did I? What? Why does it show that? What?
I was last night. I was downloading apps based on whatever you rated, Kelly.
Can you see that right there?
No, I can't actually.
Return of the King extended edition.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Yep. And then
my problem is I thought the movies were over, and then they come out with nothing. Like.
Well, see, I went in knowing that there was going to be 3, so.
Yeah, but I thought 3 was already made because they keep bringing these extended editions. I was like, okay, this is the next one, but now they've only made 2. What? And there's like a Hobbit movie, and then they made the spin-offs of other people, characters and stuff. I'm thinking it's the same thing, but I guess it's not.
No, Hobbit. All the Hobbit movies they're prequel to Lord of the Rings. So it's before Lord of the Rings even happened. Have you? They kind of did what Star Wars did. So they came out with. They did the exact same thing. They came out with episode. Yeah, Star Wars is the shit. It is good. I love Star Wars.
All right. I'm gonna plead the 5th on that one.
Don't get me wrong. When I watched the movie and I stayed awake for it, there was cool scenes and stuff.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. The Desolation of Smog wasn't my favorite one, but it was still good. I still watched the whole thing. But man, you just kind of have to have I don't know. You just have to have it in you. So.
I thought Desolation of Smaug was much better than the first one, the first Hobbit.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
well,
definitely.
yeah. I mean, the first Hobbit was
Kind of boring.
it was a slow start,
It was a very slow start.
but I mean, it was still. I love those movies.
Oh,
I
yeah.
read the books. And I saw the movies.
Yep.
So I did the same thing for Harry Potter. I read every book. And
That's
I saw
too much
every
reading.
movie.
That's too much reading. That's,
Oh my god.
I watched the movies, I did, but that was just too much reading for me.
I watched the movie and never picked up a book or movie. I just couldn't. Wait, no way, I lied. I think book number 3, the one where he meets like his cousin or something, his uncle or something, the Griffin. I can't remember.
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Like a prison or something like that. That one I read. That was okay, but
All right. So we talked about iOS and Android. The other two that we're gonna talk about, we already talked about Xbox and PlayStation. Now, one question that I wanted to ask Kelly, because I know he's big on Android, but I don't know how big he is on Windows Phone.
I'm actually very intrigued, actually.
Yes, never mind. You said it was
more so for tablets. Not necessarily for phones, but I think the tablet, you can't get a better tablet than that, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think the Windows tablets are literally the only true laptop replacement.
Okay. You know what? I love Windows Phone. I bought the Nokia 1520, and I loved it. I loved it. The only reason why I didn't keep it was because it was too much for my budget. Couldn't afford it. At the end of the day, I decided, I was like, you know what? I could just get a Nexus 5, be just as happy, and spend half
I love the Nexus.
half the
Oh my
price.
gosh. See, unfortunately, I'm on Verizon, so we never get any Nexus phones, unfortunately. But I
Galaxy?
would absolutely. That was
Galaxy Nexus?
still to this day. That's my favorite phone.
so got it. This is not the white edition. This is the Paris card.
So what do you think? Do you think they're coming up again, Windows Phone? Do you think, I've heard that they actually in some countries they're number 1 again in mobile and cell phone sales and all that.
Okay, but in those countries, do they sell the other platforms?
Yes.
They sell Android.
Okay.
They sell Android and iPhone. Yes.
Because that would be funny if that was.
Be like, yeah, we're number 1, but what
that's
else?
what we sell.
What else do you have here?
BlackBerry and Palm.
We have Symbian. But what do you think, Kelly? Do you think they're on their way back up again?
Definitely. I mean, look at everything. I mean, it's integrated in the Xbox One now. It's like there's a lot of integration into it now. I definitely think they're coming up. Do I think they're going to surpass Android or Apple? No, not at all. Not anytime soon. Probably not ever. And that's okay. I think they're not really trying to. They have their own market that they're trying to gather, and I think they're capturing it.
I
Go ahead. I was just about to ask you.
8.1. Have you seen what they're trying to do with Windows 8.1 for phone? They're going to add. It looks like they're going to add more. Add notifications in the notification bar. Also, Cortana.
Oh, Cortana, man.
That was genius. That was absolutely genius from Microsoft. I mean, I heard about this probably about a year ago almost, that they planned on implementing that in their mobile devices. I'm glad they did that, because Bing sucks. Bing is whack.
Bing has a lot of. You just need to know how to use it.
Yeah, I don't want to learn how to use it. I just want to search something, and that's where Google comes in.
With Cortana, I like how it really is more like a personal assistant.
Yeah.
Yes.
More like it's like you're having a conversation.
Cortana, it's what Google and Siri would be if they had a baby.
Yes. Yes.
Assuming you switch the Siri voice to a man first, then yes, they would have a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they can adopt. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I love Cortana. I've always loved Windows. Windows is just, it's been my favorite OS for mobile devices. since the beginning. I used to use Symbian.
In
And
Never
97
used
Nokia. What?
and which one was it? The N97? That
That was
phone
such a
was
tight phone.
such a tight phone.
Um,
Um,
I got
All
an
right,
Xbox for $200 for that.
N97.
he's gonna Google it.
Someone
Yeah,
gave me
actually.
$200 and an Xbox 360 for that phone. That's how tight that phone was.
That phone was
Oh,
tight.
that phone. I remember that
I
phone.
loved it.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
So, but I love Windows Phone. I love how easy it is to use, how smooth, you know, how fluid it is. I'm not gonna lie, I do wish they had notifications bar like Google does. I do wish they had more applications, more people supported them. I don't care that they have Instagram now. I want them to add more like other stuff.
Well, they have to do that. They have to add those kind of cliche apps. Yeah,
Well,
they
yeah,
have to because think about it. If they can gather those younger audience, they're gonna do those marketing for them. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They're gonna go to their high school, be like, "Oh my God, look at this! I got this phone," and then it's gonna spread like wildfire. You know what I mean? And there you go. That's perhaps probably how Apple got so big. It was word of
yeah.
mouth, and they're incredible advertising.
Yes, they do have really good advertising. Um, but yeah, like that's I mean those are if Windows Phone just had more applications, that's it. I would be using a Windows Phone right now.
I know
That's all.
I had one, but the real reason why I didn't keep my Windows Phone when I went to T-Mobile for Verizon, two reasons. One, at the T-Mobile store, they didn't have any Windows phones I liked. You know what I'm saying? If you want a good Windows phone for T-Mobile, you have to buy an unlocked phone. And then second, app support is definitely.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they gotta jump over that hurdle first before
Yeah.
they come into the big boys.
But the cameras though, the cameras are awesome.
Yeah. Oh yes, the cameras, the 1020 camera. You know, a lot of people still don't understand is that more megapixels doesn't necessarily make a
No,
better camera.
not at all.
It's just a bigger picture.
Exactly, and actually a true testament to that would be the HTC One.
Yes.
4 megapixel camera, but would easily outshine probably 90% of all cell phone
Yep.
cameras out there.
It came out.
The thing that makes Nokia cameras really good is their lens, and people still don't know that. It's the lenses that they use, the aperture settings that it has, and that's what makes Nokia cameras good cameras. People think it's because it has 20 megapixels or 40 megapixels. It's their lenses. The megapixels is just
Size.
yeah, and it's just a selling point for the phones. It's something that they use to sell them.
I think Nokia could come out with their own cameras. That would be cool if they did.
Yeah.
I'd buy one.
Okay, so one more question before we leave here. We have to start getting ready to wrap it up.
Actually, yeah. First of all, I want to thank those 3 people that joined us today. I really appreciate that. Please, word of mouth, spread the word. Let us help us out a little bit.
Answer the question.
Yeah, let your friends know. If you guys don't know by the title, this was just a test podcast. We are going to be doing more of these later on in the future when we're a little bit more prepared. Yes, you're correct, Jeff Jordan. Nokia does use
Carl's
those
eyes.
lenses. Yeah, Carl's eyes. But yeah, word of mouth. Let your friends know. Let your people know. Share us. Wherever you can. If you liked it, hit the +1 button. Comment and let us know what you liked. Let us know what you didn't like. That way we know what we can do different. Last question before we wrap it up. BlackBerry. Why and why not? I recently had the BlackBerry Z10, and I loved the BlackBerry Z10. Kelly obviously didn't own a BlackBerry Z10. I think it was a wonderful phone. It worked. It had more app support than Windows Phone did. The service was just great. Even though I had crappy service, I still had really good service. Like no call drops. The video chat quality was amazing. Everything just worked perfectly fine, and it just it was just a really good phone, and I really wish I could have kept
Really
it.
nice too.
I really wish I could have kept it. If it had as many applications as Android does, I would use it over Android easily.
It's a good secondary phone.
But yeah, what about you, Paris? What was your experience with your Z10?
I love that phone, and the reason why I got rid of it was because nobody else had it. The person who did was you, and you got rid of it. So I had to get rid of it. I mean, because I liked it because we could share screens. I could like talk to you about what's going on, but then someone just closed it. I don't know if they did it for. But the phone looked nice. Like I had the white version. It looked really nice. The keyboard, the typing was so quick. Like I still have yet to experience the same typing experience on the phone. I see that Windows 8.1 is supposed to have some new typing keyboard thing that's supposed to be the fastest, but I have to see when it comes out. But the BlackBerry, I've always loved BlackBerry. I remember having the Bold. That was like an awesome phone to me. The reason why, no, I had the Curve too, and the Curve, I had that when I went to Japan, but it didn't have 3G, so I couldn't use it anymore. And that's when I jumped to Symbian with Note 9, the Nokia 927, I mean 97, and then I went to Android when I got back to the States. But I don't know, BlackBerry. I wish they didn't fall off, but look at they are.
Yeah, same here. You know what? You know why I think they fell off?
Why?
Because they hired Alicia Keys. No, I'm just playing.
She did nothing.
She did absolutely nothing.
Help or hurt, she didn't do anything.
So Kelly, what is it that you despise about BlackBerry so much?
You know, kind of everything, really.
Never owned a BlackBerry?
No, I have not, but I've activated quite a few of those and played with a bunch of them. No, what I don't. Okay, put it like this. They're better. They are definitely better than BlackBerry 9 and below or before that. Just I still don't think they hold a candle to even Microsoft. You know, even the Windows Phone right now. They're solid. They're better. I think their time has come and passed, and the sooner they realize that, the better they'll be.
What if you're just looking at the phone as like a separate phone, not compared to anybody else?
It's hard to do because we live in a competitive world, you know.
Oh, but I just wish you had the experience.
I'll tell you what, I'll try it out. I'll try it out.
Yeah, give it a try. I mean,
give it a shot.
you could just grab one and start using it if you want to.
No, because that would actually mean that we have some in stock, which we don't. We never do. You know why? Because it never sells.
Oh, I thought it would be because it sold out, kind of like the PlayStation 4 does.
No, zero orders.
Well, kind of like the PlayStation 4 sells out every time.
Yeah, kind of similar to that.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you for joining us, Jeff Jordan. Thank you for being our question asker MVP.
You can, Jeff Jordan, you can consider yourself patient number 1 because you were the first one to come to us. So very, very, very nice.
Yeah, you stayed from the beginning, buddy. Thank you for joining in, and we will see you guys next time. All right.
All right, signing out.
Let people know about us.